We want to continue the conversation about place and how where we are can influence the work we do. We want to bring out a couple folks and have another conversation. First, I want to introduce you to Tyson Gersh. He is the co-founder and president of the Michigan Urban Farming Initiative. It is exactly what the name implies. He is growing food in abandoned lots in inner city Detroit on the north end. Uses that urban agriculture as a platform for other forms of change, though, around education, sustainability, and community building. He has a background that makes me want to cry and weep. He has studied and become expert in everything from social psychology to effective neuroscience. I'm not even sure what that means. Tyson. And we'll be joined by, for a different perspective, Carol Coletta, who runs the communities program for the Knight Foundation. Knight is one of my favorite funders out there, whether it's the world of journalism that I grew up in or places, communities where Knight Ridder used to have newspapers. Knight backs up its strong research and its words with really big checks. Before she joined Knight, she was CEO and president of CEOs for Cities, a national network of urban leaders seeking to attack and solve urban problems. She's also written and spoken extensively on the future of cities, including how communities develop, attract, and retain talent. Carol?
Thank you.
Thank you. So we really kind of had the benefit here of somebody who is on the ground working today, but somebody else who comes from a much more global and holistic perspective. So I just want to toss some ideas out there and kind of see where those two things overlap. As we think about a place like Detroit, much like Baltimore, it's got plenty of things going on, but it's known more for these almost intractable social problems. What are you doing? How are you attacking that? And what's kind of the reception you're getting from your community?
So we do a lot of things. It started as sort of a niche effort to end food insecurity just through community gardening, which was super naive at the time, but it needed to be. And since that time, we've sort of evolved our strategy. What started as a strictly food security thing has turned into a placemaking thing. We do a lot of development work, getting structures occupied by owners, not renters, transitioning the overall ratio in our neighborhood, really trying to build up a community of people who have an equitable stake in its future. We do a lot of tax auction navigation work. And I think a lot of our time is spent trying to drive innovation in blue and green infrastructure. So really quickly we realized that there are a lot of blighted structures in Detroit and not a lot of good ways to deal with them. For whatever reason, the city's sort of approach to it right now is that the most cost-effective strategy is just to demo everything, because from a development standpoint, blank slates are more attractive to developers. And we're really trying to push back on that thinking and repurpose blighted urban infrastructure in a way that serves our community, our nonprofit. It just falls within green and blue infrastructure, innovation in it.
You used a term that snapped my head around, placemaking. What does that mean?
Actually, I think I learned it when I was looking at one of their applications, and I just thought it was such a good word.
So what does that mean?
I don't think there's anything magical about placemaking. There's something magical about places that work really, really well. But I helped found Art Place, which has promoted the concept of creative placemaking, and essentially that's the use of art in place to make places more vibrant. And I think good placemaking has been done for thousands of years, and it's simply a matter. But sometimes you think we've gone through decades forgetting the lessons of history, and I think we're back now to much better placemaking, and we're also back to enabling a lot of people to get in the placemaking game, like you, which is fantastic.
I was struck by something Fagan said earlier, where he talked about he wanted to find people who would choose Baltimore. Now, I'm of an age where it's no, when I got to school, I chose no place. I looked for a job, and the job happened to be someplace. What I'm hearing is that attitude is shifting.
It's shifted dramatically, and that has persisted over at least the last decade. What's happened is that two-thirds of people, two-thirds of the most mobile people in society, who are 25 to 34-year-olds with college degrees, say first they choose the place they want to live, then they look for a job. That's not to say if they don't find a job that they move, but if you look at moves across county lines or across MSA lines, metropolitan statistical area lines, so out of a regional area, what you're finding is that people are, they're choosing place now. And that's, the old joke, I've been moved, IBM, I'll go wherever the job takes me. It's just not true anymore. And I think one of the reasons is because job tenure is so much shorter today. So it's not like you're with the company and the company defines your life.
And we've made a bargain
Exactly.
that you'll be there for
That's
me
right.
forever.
That's right. So now what our people are looking for is, I'm not loyal to the company, I'm loyal to the place. And what place will give me the kind of life I want over a long period of time.
I want to tug on that thread with you because, look, Cal Berkeley, University of Michigan, these terrific academic credentials, you very consciously and thoughtfully chose Detroit and chose to tackle a really big problem. Why?
Guilt.
You've met my mother-in-law.
Right? It's just sort of my introduction to the city. I grew up in Ann Arbor mostly. Up until college, didn't even realize there were skyscrapers in the city. Ended up going there for the first time as part of a research position that I took with Urban Community Oral Health Intervention Project. And it was just like, kind of really intense. And I mean, exciting sort of to my teenage boy self, like, oh my God, it's post-apocalyptic America, like this is so cool. But also sort of like, oh my God, there's serious problems here that I'm just not doing anything but sort of perpetuating a broken system with. And I don't know, it just felt really important that I'd not be perpetuating the system and doing something against it, and it kind of led me down the rabbit hole.
So you started at at least a fairly defined problem, food insecurity, food deserts.
And the curiosity. I mean, Detroit, for better or for worse, is a place where people without a lot of access to capital can do stuff. Me and my co-founder drained our combined personal savings of $5,000 and bought a building. I don't know where else you can do that.
Now, to this
It's
day,
not a functional building yet, right? Because it turns out